You've probably heard that a glass of red wine is good for your heart. Maybe you enjoy a drink in the evening to unwind. But here's something that might surprise you. Recent research is raising serious questions about whether any amount of alcohol is truly safe for your brain as you age. Today, we're going to talk about the real connection between alcohol and dementia and what it means for you if you're over 60. I'm here to give you honest, science-backed information that you can actually use. If you want more videos like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. It helps us reach more people who want to take control of their health naturally. All right, let's dive in. So let's start with the big question. Does alcohol actually cause dementia? And if you're someone who enjoys a drink now and then, should you be worried? Here's what the research tells us. There is a clear, proven link between heavy alcohol consumption and an increased risk of dementia. When we say heavy drinking, we're talking about multiple drinks every day over many years. This kind of pattern can literally shrink your brain, especially the parts responsible for memory, decision-making, and coordination. Heavy drinkers are significantly more likely to develop dementia earlier in life compared to people who drink moderately or not at all. But here's where it gets more complicated. For decades, we've been told that moderate drinking, especially red wine, might actually protect the brain. Some studies showed that people who had one drink per day seemed to have a lower risk of dementia compared to heavy drinkers, or even people who never drank at all. This led to the idea that a little alcohol might be good for you. However, newer and more carefully designed studies are challenging that belief. Scientists now think that those earlier studies were flawed. Here's why. Many people who don't drink at all may have quit because they were already sick or taking medications that didn't mix well with alcohol. When researchers compared moderate drinkers to these non-drinkers, it looked like alcohol was protective, but it wasn't. The non-drinkers just happened to already have health problems that increased their dementia risk. When scientists account for this bias and look more carefully at the data, the protective effect of moderate drinking disappears. In fact, even moderate alcohol consumption, meaning one drink per day, has been associated with changes in the brain that aren't good. Brain scans show that people who drink regularly, even in moderation, tend to have slightly smaller brain volumes and changes in the white matter, which is the wiring that connects different parts of your brain. Let's be very clear about what a standard drink actually is, because many people underestimate how much they're consuming. One standard drink is 5 ounces of wine, 12 ounces of beer, or 1.5 ounces of hard liquor. If you're pouring your own glass of wine at home, chances are you're pouring more than 5 ounces. So what you think is one drink might actually be 2. Now, does this mean that having a glass of wine at a family dinner is going to give you dementia? No. The risk from light, occasional drinking is small. But it's no longer accurate to say that moderate drinking is good for your brain. At best, it's neutral. At worst, especially if you're drinking every single day, it's slowly doing harm. The truth is, alcohol is a neurotoxin. That means it's toxic to your brain cells. Every time you drink, even in small amounts, alcohol affects how your neurons communicate. Over time, this can add up. And as you get older, your body processes alcohol differently. Your liver doesn't work as efficiently, and your brain becomes more sensitive to alcohol's effects. What might have felt fine in your 40s can have a bigger impact in your 60s and 70s. Now let's talk about why alcohol affects the aging brain differently than it does when you're younger. Understanding this will help you make smarter decisions about your own habits. As we age, our bodies go through natural changes that make us more vulnerable to alcohol's effects. First, your body composition changes. You have less water in your tissues compared to when you were younger. Since alcohol is diluted by water in your body, having less water means the same amount of alcohol results in a higher concentration in your blood and brain. So that one glass of wine hits you harder at 70 than it did at 40. Second, your liver slows down. The liver is responsible for breaking down alcohol and clearing it from your system. As you age, this process becomes less efficient. This means alcohol stays in your system longer, giving it more time to affect your brain and other organs. It also means you might feel the effects more strongly and for a longer period. Third, and this is really important, older brains are already under stress. Even healthy aging involves some natural decline in brain volume, some reduction in the connections between neurons, and some changes in blood flow. Your brain is working harder to maintain its function. When you add alcohol into the mix, you're putting additional strain on a system that's already being challenged. There's also the issue of sleep. Many seniors use alcohol to help them fall asleep. And while it might make you drowsy at first, it actually disrupts the quality of your sleep. Alcohol prevents you from getting into the deep, restorative stages of sleep that your brain needs to repair itself and clear out waste products. One of those waste products is a protein called beta amyloid, which builds up in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Poor sleep means less clearance of this protein, which means a higher risk of dementia over time. Let's also talk about medications. If you're over 60, there's a good chance you're taking at least one prescription medication. Many common medications, including those for blood pressure, diabetes, pain, and anxiety, can interact dangerously with alcohol. Alcohol can make these medications less effective or amplify their side effects. It can increase your risk of falls, confusion, and even overdose. And falls, as you probably know, are one of the leading causes of serious injury and hospitalization in older adults. Another factor that doesn't get talked about enough is something called subclinical damage. This means damage that's happening but isn't obvious yet. You might not notice any problems with your memory or thinking after a drink or two. You feel fine. But underneath the surface, alcohol is causing inflammation in your brain, affecting your blood vessels, and slowly accumulating damage. This damage might not show up as dementia for years or even decades, but it's setting the stage. There's also emerging evidence about alcohol and something called brain reserve. Brain reserve is like your brain's savings account. It's the extra capacity and connections your brain has built up over your lifetime through education, social engagement, physical activity, and healthy living. The more reserve you have, the better your brain can withstand damage and delay the symptoms of dementia. Alcohol depletes this reserve. It's like making withdrawals from your brain's savings account without making any deposits. So what does all this mean for you practically? It means that even if you've been a moderate drinker your whole life without problems, the rules change as you get older. Your brain is less resilient. Your body handles alcohol differently, and the cumulative effects of years of drinking start to matter more. The current scientific consensus is shifting toward the idea that when it comes to brain health, less alcohol is better and none is best. Major health organizations, including the World Health Organization, are now saying there is no safe level of alcohol consumption when it comes to overall health. That doesn't mean one drink will ruin your life, but it does mean we can't pretend it's harmless or beneficial anymore. So now that we understand the risks, let's talk about what you can actually do about it. Whether you're a regular drinker, an occasional drinker, or someone who's thinking about cutting back, this section is going to give you practical steps you can take starting today. First, let's be honest about your current habits. Many people underestimate how much they drink. Start by keeping track for 1 week. Write down every drink you have, what type it was, and how much you actually poured. Remember, a standard drink is smaller than most people think. If you're consistently having more than 7 drinks per week or more than 3 in a single day, you're in a category that puts you at higher risk for brain damage and dementia. If you discover you're drinking more than you thought, don't panic and don't feel ashamed. You're not alone, and you have the power to change this right now. The good news is that your brain has an amazing ability to heal and recover, even later in life. Studies show that when people stop drinking or significantly reduce their intake, brain volume can actually increase again, inflammation goes down, and cognitive function can improve. So what's a reasonable goal? If you're currently drinking every day, start by introducing alcohol-free days into your week. Try 3 days per week with no alcohol at all. This gives your brain and liver time to recover. If that feels manageable after a few weeks, increase it to 4 or 5 alcohol-free days. Many people find that once they break the daily habit, they don't miss it as much as they expected. If you drink socially or occasionally, be mindful of how much you're pouring and how often special occasions come up. 1 glass at a birthday party is very different from 1 glass every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Ask yourself honestly, is this truly occasional, or has it become a regular pattern? Now let's talk about replacing the habit. Often, people drink out of routine rather than genuine desire. Maybe you associate 5 o'clock with pouring a drink, or maybe it's part of your wind-down ritual. The key is to replace that ritual with something else that gives you pleasure and relaxation. This could be a cup of herbal tea, a flavored sparkling water with a slice of lemon, or even a mocktail that feels special but doesn't have the alcohol. The goal is to keep the ritual, but remove the substance that's harming your brain. You might also drink to manage stress, loneliness, or boredom. If that's the case, it's important to address those underlying issues. Find other ways to manage stress that actually work better than alcohol. Deep breathing exercises, gentle yoga, walking in nature, calling a friend, or picking up a hobby you used to love. These activities reduce stress and anxiety without the downsides of alcohol. In fact, they do the opposite. They build brain reserve, strengthen neural connections, and protect against dementia. Let's also talk about social pressure. If your friends or family are used to you having a drink with them, it can feel awkward to say no. You don't owe anyone an explanation, but if you want to share, you can simply say you're focusing on your brain health or that your doctor suggested cutting back. Most people will respect that. And if they don't, that's their issue, not yours. Your health comes first. Another practical tip: if you do choose to drink occasionally, never drink on an empty stomach. Stay well hydrated by drinking water alongside your alcohol, and avoid drinking close to bedtime. These simple strategies reduce some of the immediate harm alcohol causes. Now, if you're someone who's been drinking heavily for years and you're worried about withdrawal, please talk to your doctor before making sudden changes. Heavy drinkers can experience dangerous withdrawal symptoms, and you may need medical support to quit safely. There's no shame in asking for help. In fact, it's one of the smartest things you can do. Here's something else to consider. The benefits of cutting back or quitting go far beyond just reducing dementia risk. You'll likely sleep better, have more energy, lose some weight if you're carrying extra, improve your blood pressure and blood sugar, and feel mentally sharper. Many people report feeling like a fog has lifted after just a few weeks without alcohol. You might not have realized the fog was even there until it's gone. And finally, remember that every positive choice you make today is an investment in your future self. You're not just reducing risk. You're actively building a healthier, stronger brain. You're giving yourself the best possible chance to stay independent, sharp, and engaged in the things you love for many more years to come. So, let's recap what we've learned today. The link between alcohol and dementia is real and stronger than we once thought. Even moderate drinking can cause changes in your brain that add up over time. As you get older, your brain becomes more vulnerable to alcohol's effects, and what used to feel harmless can actually be causing slow, steady damage. But here's the empowering part. You have control over this. You can make changes right now that will protect your brain and improve your quality of life. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. When it comes to alcohol and brain health, less is always better, and none is best. You deserve to live with clarity, energy, and independence. Your brain deserves your care and protection. If this video gave you something to think about or helped you understand this topic better, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe to Wellora for more honest, practical health information designed specifically for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself.
Prime Health Lab is dedicated to men's internal health. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.